Hi there, my name is Zane. Welcome to my garage. Working on my 2007 Suzuki VStrom DL1000. So on this time, what I'm going to do is I'm doing modifications for the front turn signals. The guy who owned this bike before me had some other turn signals on here. Other turn signals on here that went basically just like that. So the stock turn signals match the ones in the rear. They look like this. The guy who owned the bike before me laid the bike down and broke the turn signal as well as the right side fairing over here. I've already taken it apart. As you can see, I've got my gas tank off. You don't need to take the gas tank off for this particular project. However, I figured at the same time I will take off my air cleaner and replace it. I actually have a K&N filter which I cleaned and re-oiled and re-put on. And you can actually get up inside there a lot better without the gas tank on. So I'm going to leave it off while I'm doing this project. What I'm replacing these with are these turn signals. They're something I found on Amazon. In a nutshell, that's what it'll look like when it's on. However, you can see there's a recessed part back here that goes in, which I don't like the way that looks. Now what I've done is I've taken the stock turn signal and I've cut it down to make my own little bracket that fills in the hole here. And then eventually it should look something like that, which I still didn't really like the way it looks, but you know what, you just kind of work with what you got to work with. So when I took this thing apart, got over to the other side and took this side apart, I said, where's the recessed part here? It was a solid piece of plastic or whatever there. So I'm thinking, shoot. So then I realized this whole section got repaired because it got broken out when the bike got laid over. So with doing the brackets the way that I had with the stock brackets, cutting them off, it wouldn't work on this side because I've got just a smooth piece over here, which is why they ended up using this type of a turn signal mount, where this thing just mounts flush onto the side like that. Now I have to try to figure out how to get it mounted on here properly and make it look good still. So this side would be easy because all I got to do is mount this turn signal directly onto the fairing, just like that. But I can't do that over here. And I'm not going to have this side mounted on the flush and this side mounted on some sort of a makeshift bracket that I built, so out of the old turn signals. So how do you solve that problem? Well, what I did is I built this bracket. There, I built two of them. This will be on the right side. They're actually the same for both sides. So I'm going to put this here, bracket there, and that way I can mount the turn signal right onto the bracket here, and it covers up the hole, mounts it to the plate just perfect. And then I'll mount it over here and it'll look the same on both sides. Now I'm looking at the wiring inside here, and you can see the wiring up here has been replaced. See the two blue connectors there? There should be a plug, just like in the rear. You can see those plugs right there, the black one, and then there's a like a brownish gray one right next to each other. Those are for the rear turn signals. So they don't have them there because somebody's replaced them, cut them off, and they put those other turn signals on. So that was the previous modification. So now I'm going to modify that modification. So modification number 2 hopefully will be better than the first one. In order to mount the brackets here onto my fairing, I need some sort of a gasket. So what I did is I went and bought a little inner tube. I'm going to cut this inner tube apart and make a bracket material, or excuse me, a gasket material out of it. You know, since I don't have a hole punch for rubber, this is what I'm going to do. The underside of this doesn't have to be super precise, so I'm just going to fold that into a corner. There's my hole for one of the screws. There's the hole for the other screw. And this will be the hole for the mounting thing to go through. Yeah. That'll work. Okay, so this is what I've done for the left side. I've mounted my turn signal to my bracket, and I've made my gasket. And I'm going to fit it in. So I'm having a heck of a time getting the nut and washers on the back there. I did get it on now. You can, I don't know if you can see it in there. Got them all back on. But these tiny little critters here, I got big fat fingers, and I had to pull this part of the panel off because I couldn't get through here and hold on to them. So, and then after dropping these little things all over the floor and having to crawl on my hands and knees and find them, you can see how small these little lock washers are. I came up with a little plan in order to get that on. You have to hold it, but I can't hold it like that, so I have to hold it like that. And anyhow, trial and error, after a while, I devised a little system here where I wrapped a piece of tape on my fingers backwards, and now it won't fall off. And I put it on inside there like that, and held it on until I got the screw to start turning. So if you need a little shortcut there, I've got that for you. And if somebody's got any better ideas, please let me know. Okay, I've got that side mounted. That's what the finished product looks like. Wiring inside is done. It's tucked up underneath there. And I've mounted this back all together. So that side's done. On to the other side. Okay, got them both mounted. There's the left side. There's the right side. I'm going to put the tank back on. I don't think that it would hurt anything by turning the power on right now, but I don't want to chance anything. So I got to rehook it all back up anyhow. So before I test it and turn the power on, I'm going to put the tank back on, get it all ready to go. I highly recommend having a empty fuel tank or a low fuel tank when you do this. Don't fill it up like I did right before you came home. Fortunately, it's relatively simple to take the gas tank off. It's just kind of a pain. We got some quick connects on here that for the fuel line. If you've never taken the gas tank off, it's pretty easy. Just got to make sure all the vent hoses get put back on. Okay. Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if this works. Well, you can see that it's not doing what it's supposed to do, and it's got a fast blink. Both sides are doing the exact same thing. It's supposed to light up all the way down in sequential order, and it's not doing that, so we'll have to play with that and figure it out. So I did decide to try to use the four-way flashers, and you can see that they're working as they should with the hazard lights. So pretty cool looking. But when I use the turn signal, that's what I get. And I get the fast flash. So I'm not sure if I've got a problem with my turn signal relay or not. So I'll play with it and figure it out. Okay, so I've got some diagnosed things going on here. Got a bunch of wires hooked up together. The old turn signal there. The new one is still on. So I think I've got a resistance problem with the LED not having enough resistance. It thinks that there's a burnt out bulb. So when I turn the key on, you can see it's flashing good and it's working good. But when I disconnect the old one, it goes back to that with the fast blinking. So working on it still. Okay, I ordered this relay on Amazon, this one here. The stock one is $89. This one, Amazon, which is supposed to be a replacement for LED lights, which is supposed to fix the fast moving or fast blinking lights. Got it for like 15 bucks or something, so we'll see what happens. Alright, it's fit in. That was pretty easy. Pretty much the direct plug and play. Let's see what happens. Power's on. Left turn signal. Huh. Look at that. They definitely blink a lot slower than they did before. Right turn signal is working like it should. Again, blinking just like it, blinking slower than it should, but hazard lights. Well, let's make sure it starts. All right, well, I guess I'm done. 15 bucks on Amazon. I'm going to carry this with me on my bike just to make sure that one doesn't go bad. So there you are, ladies and gentlemen, problem solved.